Wow, Sam, that was brilliant. What are the chances?
Huh?
I don't know what that's referring to.
Oh, what are the chances of those policies being implemented that Myerson was advocating for? Isn't that what she's saying?
I don't know.
You're able to get that?
But
That's what I'm assuming.
I
Why
mean,
don't you IM to validate me?
look, it's interesting because this has spurred a lot of talk of the Overton window. And we have talked about the Overton window on this program before. It was actually developed by a guy who was looking to privatize, I think it was schools. And on some level, there's been some success in that regard. But the idea is that by pushing, it's about mainstreaming ideas, making ideas acceptable to be discussed, and the hope is that ultimately it won't necessarily affect electoral politics, but it will provide in the case of those of us who are trying to work it on the left, a more left menu of policies to enact once you're in an electoral position to do so. And, I think there apparently is very little data on the efficacy of it, and it's almost impossible to measure. But my sense is, from my perspective, and I think I'm pretty well situated because I've spent the past near 10 years now, shy of 3 months, just tracking what media narratives are and being a massive consumer of varying sectors of what is written and by whom it's embraced. And also moving from platforms that have been very varied. Commercial radio is a very different platform than this platform. I don't know that I would ever have this conversation, even, frankly, if I was doing a commercial radio program. Because, a bigger percentage of your audience is dummies. With all due respect to those people.
I think that there's two things that make it interesting. And one, I noticed around de Blasio in New York, obviously, that some people, a couple years ago, the response to someone like him, and the response even to Obama in '08, as far ago as that feels, was like, this is amazing that this could even happen, right? Like, this guy seems like he's kind of liberal and he became elected mayor. That's incredible. I notice a lot more people pointing out, even in the context of people who support him and are enthusiastic about him, of saying, like, universal pre-K, what's particularly radical about that? Like, that's great, we should support it, but this is the beginning, and the space opened up by him should lead to much further pushes on the left. And then I think the other way it's salient is the polling data. I mean, I agree that the kind of generational frame can be exaggerated and silly, but millennials are a lot more liberal for a lot of reasons that we've discussed.
Seen actually that
we've
I think
discussed
people that age,
the polling data is all over.
Yeah, the people that age are far more open to socialism. In fact, supportive.
And this
of
is
socialism.
filling in the gap.
Right.
That's going from like, oh, well, theoretically, I'm open to a system that's a little bit more humane to, well, what does that actually mean? And therefore, that means those ideas are going to have a much more real political prospect.